we begin to look at our text and topic, all of us ought to be able to come to the full understanding that life within itself will bring about a season that makes you feel as though you're in it all by yourself. And everybody and everything has become either non-existing or extinct. In other words, it seems as if there is a void or a sense of absence in your atmosphere. But the good part about it is that when the stains of life are raging and it's not easy and the weight of the world drives you to your knees, that there is a God who sits high and there is a God who looks low and says that he'll put no more on you than you be able to bear. And when things seems to be going wrong, somebody needs to know that God is still right. What do you mean, Pastor? Things going wrong, but God is still right. In the midst of your wrong, I need somebody to know that God is right there waiting to hear your prayers. Somebody needs to know that you're not the only one going through. We're living in dangerous times. We're living in rough times. We have no leadership in this world coming from the house. But God is right there waiting to make a way out of no way. He's right there able to give us peace in the midst of the storm. And I pause to ask this question to the house on this morning. Is there anybody in here that know him as a right now God? Oh, yeah. Pastor, what do you mean know him as a right now God? He may not come when you want him to, but he's always on time. Anybody know him as a right now God? But we've been making do it for a night, but joy coming in the morning. Anybody know him as a right now God? I will lift up my eyes to the hills which come in my help, because all of my help comes from the Lord. The time is right now. Why? Because it seems as though we're in a season when God has become very silent. But I come to the point within my life where I realize that when God begins to get silent, I'm smart and wise enough to know that he's up to something. And I don't know who I'm talking to in this house on this morning that's feeling as though God has got silent. But look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor he's up to something. He's up to something when he gets silent. Can I plead my case on silence? Can I plead my case? All right. There were 400 years of silence from the end of the Old Testament to the beginning of the New. There was silence on the cross from the time when he gave up the ghost until he got up out of the grave. I'm just trying to convince somebody that silence sometimes is not always a bad thing. But here in the text, y'all, David became bothered because God was silent, and it seems as though his enemies was very excited. Yeah. You ever been in a season where it seems as if those you thought were your friends were rejoicing in your down season? You ever been in a season where people who were supposed to have your back, they stood way back? You ever been in a season where you prayed 3, 4, 5 times a day and it seemed like you were not getting an answer from God? Silence sometimes is not always wrong. But David was bothered. The reason why David was bothered because he was not used to the God that he served being silent. In other words, God is still hearing our prayers. First off in the text, I want you to know that when God gets silent, there is healing in his hesitation. There's healing in his hesitation. David begins to question God. And I don't know about you, there were times in my life when I wasn't where I needed to be in Christ. And I used to have a bad habit of questioning God until I became wiser. God, why me, God? Why must I go through this? And every time that we begin to ask God the question of why, God responds back with why not? What makes you any different than anybody else? But the difference is that when we begin to go through things as a child of God, somebody needs to know we're not going through all by ourselves.
Amen.
But David said in the text, he says, God, how long will you be silent? How long? He was upset with God. Will you forget about me? How long, God, will you hide your face? Verse 2, he said, how long shall I take counsel? Then he come back, verse 3, he said, how long shall my enemies laugh at me? Consider me, God, like lighten my load. Anybody ever had to tell the Lord to ease up? I mean, you felt it. You felt like every time you turned around, you was going through something. Ease up, Lord. Give me a break, Lord, because I don't know how much longer that I will be able to deal with this. It even got so hectic for David. He said, give me some sleep. But God's response is, anytime we can doubt, we begin to question God about how long will it take. God's response is, however long I think it needs to take. He says, I am God. Don't question me. I don't have to answer you. I'm your father. I say it and it is so. But this time around, my hesitation is for your healing. Sometimes God allows us to go through a silent season. Some of us, in the morning, we wake up late. Some of us make a habit out of waking up late. And we begin to become angry because we woke up late. We're mad at traffic. We talk in tongues on the interstate. And it's everybody else's fault. But sometimes we have to be thankful. Because did you not know 2 exits up from where you got on the interstate, had you would have been on time, that might have been you in that head on collision. Sometimes God's silence is for our healing. Just look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor he's still there. He's still. Sometimes I have to be silent in order to give you the opportunity that you may be able to get it right. Is there anybody in this house on this morning that's in need of a healing? Is there anybody? If you're in need of a healing, go ahead and tell God ahead of time. Get on your feet and give God a healing praise, because you are requesting God. You are petitioning God. Lord, if there's never been a time that I needed you, the time is right now. Lord, I need a healing. Okay, so here it is. Here it is. 2 minutes of praise, we wrote. Here it is. Sometimes God says, I get silent so you can recognize my help. Anybody in here know God as a helper? Anybody in here know him as a way out of no way? Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I recognize my help. I know that all my help comes from the Lord. And God, I thank you for being silent, because I know that when you get silent, that you up to something. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor he's up to something. Just keep on praying. If you're broke, pray about it. He's up to something. Problems from the job, pray about it. Problems with your kids, pray about it. Problems in your family, pray about it. God is up. Man, he's up. He's up to something. But sometimes he hesitates for a reason, but his hesitation brings about a healing. Somebody says, Pastor, I know you're right about it. I ain't trying to be holy and thou, but I just want to be right. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I ain't got it all together, but I'm doing better than what I used to. Yeah, I know I'm right about it. This hesitation was for your healing. He may not get in a hurry, but don't you worry, because he's always on time. Secondly, when God gets silent, there's a whisper of a wonder which will bring about a word. In other words, sometimes just a whisper can bring about a word. Where are you going with this, Pastor? David began to wonder because his enemies was rejoicing. If you've been in this life for some time, you'll recognize that there will be people, there have been people that will talk about you. You'll recognize that there will be people that will frown upon you. You'll recognize that there will be people who will laugh at you. But I need you to know God gonna get the last laugh. I need let them laugh, let them whisper. And I know sometimes it's hard to sit around and know that somebody is whispering about you. In other words, if you got something to say, don't whisper, talk to me. Ain't no need whispering. God gave me some good ears, but David heard of a whisper. And sometimes just a whisper of God's word can get you out of years of trouble. Anybody ever had a whisper of God's word? You ever been in a season where you almost went back, but you heard a whisper from heaven? Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you better thank God for the whisper. David began to wonder because his enemies was rejoicing. He began to question God. God, how dare you sit back while everybody is laughing at me? Anybody ever been the laughing stock of the world? But God will get the last. In verse 4 and 5, he says, even though my enemies are laughing, I'm still going to trust in you, Lord, and I will rejoice. What do you mean, Pastor? Even though I'm in a crazy season, Psalms 34:1 says, I will bless the Lord at all times. And his praises shall continually be in my mouth. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but the Bible says when God gets angry, things begin to change. Even though your enemies are laughing, we serve a God that will get the last laugh. And if you are in this house and you feel as though you've been the laughing stock, get on your feet and give God a praise. The reason why you need to praise God is because God's going to get the last laugh. How about your neighbor and tell your neighbor, say neighbor, God will get the last laugh. Sometimes he's got to get silent so that he can give you time to get yourself together. But I want you to know that we serve a God that is able to do all things but fail. Good evening, church. We get ready to leave this place, but I want you to know that when your back is against the wall, there is a God who sits high and looks low, that makes a way out of no way. Grab your neighbor's hand and tell your neighbor, say neighbor, let them keep laughing, let them keep talking, because I got a word. I got a word from the Lord. And the word says, said, God, you may be silent. When I'm the last verse, he said, I'm still singing. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I may not brag what you brag, but I'm still singing. I may not live where you live, but I'm still singing. I may not look like you look, but I'm still singing. Good evening, church. Tell the Lord, thank you for giving me a song in my heart. Silence keeps me singing. And every now and then, when I go through a season, I think about one of my favorite songs. And the song says that it makes no difference what you're going through. You're gonna make it. God's gonna see you through. Hold your head up. Put a smile on your face. This is just a test, but it'll never be late. Get ready. Grab your neighbor's hand and tell your neighbor, get ready. Like I need to do it like TV takes. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. God is getting ready to open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. And every now and then I sing to myself and I tell myself there is a bright side somewhere. Get on your feet. Tell the Lord there is a bright side somewhere in your ways. It's dark and drift. You don't have to worry, because God is near. Open up your mouth and tell the Lord. Tell him thank you. Somebody shout. Shout yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Shout yeah. God.